Toby stopped by. Go keep him company, make him feel welcome.
He is not interested in talking to me.
She was the love of his life.
No one at school gets it.
I don't think it's possible to get it unless you're in it, like we are.
You believe in signs from the beyond?
I believe in everything.
'Cause you've got me.
Yes. By the way, the heart breaks. Music escapes. That's how it gets out.
All right, welcome to the Skies Everywhere location team interview. Woohoo! I'm Cassandra Hesseltine, the film commissioner, and I am honored to be talking to 3 out of the team that worked on the Skies Everywhere, and Heather McLean, who was the location manager for it. I'm really excited to have her with us because she came from out of town to work on this project and is always welcome back. And then we have 2 of our locals who worked on it as well that we're really excited to have. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. And so let's start with Heather.
All right, I'm Heather McLean, and I do locations mostly in the Bay Area, but I was lucky enough to get to come up to Humboldt, and I've done movies such as Matrix, San Andreas is a fun one I've done, Swiss Army Man, which also featured Humboldt, things like that. So this one was my very first post-COVID project.
Well, thank you for honoring us with your time. We really loved having you. You're really great to work with. So how about Rowdy?
Well, I'll second that. It was wonderful to have Heather up here. It was such a good experience, and she made it all the better with her experience. So which we needed up here. My name's Rowdy, and I've been doing this kind of stuff for, I don't know, I guess it's 20 years now. My first commercial was in 1999, which I just got off of right now, scouting for another one. But I've done various movies up here and the Bay Area, working in locations. I try to stay in Humboldt County since I have kids, and I got to watch them grow up. So Humboldt County tends to offer quite a few projects throughout the year, so I've been able to stay abreast, and then when movies come up, it's extra special. And in this movie, to say the least, was really cool, really special thing for Humboldt. So yeah.
Nice. And you worked on some big ones, right? That we've had here before. Like, was it Outbreak or Majestic or both?
Majestic was my first big movie, yeah. And that sucked me in and kicked my butt. I didn't realize what it took to make a movie, and the hours you had to put in. I think I put on a half a size on my shoe size, just from standing. It was a great experience, but yeah, I've worked on Majestic, After Earth,
Time.
Woodstock, yeah, Wrinkle in Time,
all of them, yeah.
And at various car commercials, music videos, stills, all kinds of stuff. And the Redwoods and the whole Humboldt Coast line looks great, so people tend to come up here for shooting. And what was great about this movie is they didn't just come up here for the scenery. We utilized everything that Humboldt had to offer. And
absolutely. You're right. Yeah. Because they had over 500 actors. They had the locations. Everything. It was really immersed in our world here. It was wonderful. You're right. And how about you, John?
Well, I grew up here. I'm a big fan of films generally in all aspects of them, especially watching them and making them, or more often talking about making them. And I also am a big fan of work that's not, a regular 9 to 5. So I was doing film festivals, and then the pandemic happened, so those stopped. And then that's how that was what got me roped into working on The Sky is Everywhere in the locations department. And it kicked my butt, but it was a learning and growing experience, and I had fun.
What was it like, the 3 of you working on this film, with the locations? Do you have any fun stories for us?
Well, definitely. I mean, obviously, this was my first time working with Rowdy, but I heard his name before because he's worked with mentors I've worked with in the Bay Area. And so I was excited that we got to work together. And then we had a really small team, but like right in the beginning, we were thrown a curveball. Our main location, the main house we thought we were going to film in, there were things, you know, that it just couldn't work out. And so very quickly we had to pivot. And I think Rowdy and I calculated it was like within 7 hours or something like that. We had found, I think Rowdy had found like maybe four other houses. I think we found 6 potential houses for them to look at. And within 12 hours, they were looking and picking additional houses. I forget how many we showed. And then we ended up with the Callahan's house as our main location, which couldn't have worked out better. I mean, it was a fantastic, perfect fit, but just that scramble of like, hi, nice to meet you. Okay, let's find like 1 million houses since now we don't have a house anymore. And just that kind of set the pace, I think, for the whole thing of like, all right, we've got, that can pivot.
That's exactly what it did though, Heather. It set the pace for the rest of the film. You know, anyway, it got us on our toes and we're like, okay, we better be ready for anything on this.
Yeah, and just options. That was, I think, the name of the game for this film. And you can't always get that with a team and with a location, like an area. Like you can't always just offer tons of stuff just last minute, and somehow magically, you know, everything came together with our tiny group of locations people, and then the massiveness that is Humboldt. Like we were just constantly able to always present viable options. And also, Cassandra, your office, making it like, okay, now we're thinking of this. Okay, now we're thinking of that. Okay, can we do this? Can we do that? You know, it made it actually doable, which not everywhere is like that.
So you would say that Humboldt County is film friendly when it comes to locations.
Very film friendly. And considering how much we had to do, like this movie had so many different types of location work. You had in nature, you know, gorgeous scenery, which Humboldt's known for, but lots of houses, lots of neighborhood work, working in the parks, you know, working in major retail areas. You know, we had our scene that's in the newspaper, you know, with the dance sequence and everything like that. So working in that, in a high school, you know, that's a whole nother thing. So we got to do all of that, and there were no grenades realistically thrown at us aside from our own grenades that we in production do to ourselves. You know, it always happens, but yeah, it was basically just like, okay, we got to make the decision, and the options are there. So it was pretty great.
So would you encourage other locals, you know, Rowdy and John as locals, you know, let me backtrack on that question for a second, but I remember Heather saying, you know, when she left, she wanted to make sure that she left a good taste in our mouth, you know, the locals of having come in, and she's the last department to leave, and make sure that people are happy, that they're going to want film to come back. And I would assume you two working on a movie here, especially during a pandemic, you wanted, you know, the community to feel good about that. You know, would you encourage, you know, locals to continue to register with the film commissioner and to sign up and be film friendly and work with the industry? That's a loaded question.
Yes.
Good answer.
Of course. And that's part of what you and I do, Cassandra, is make sure everybody loves the first bite. It's whether, you know, what's it like after it's gone out of your mouth. And that's the important part. And I think Humboldt's been blessed so far with most productions leaving a good taste in everybody's mouth. And this one really put a strain on what was going on with the community and COVID and all that. You know, we did put a strain on some people, but we also made it work. It was a surprising time to be making a movie, and it definitely worked. And yeah, that's part of it, and hopefully more people are on board with the Humboldt-Del Norte Film Commission and being film friendly and having those options again for not just our scenery, but for some urban looks, some gritty looks, some period pieces. That's something we haven't done in a while either. We really got a lot of good places for that, and for small town, even for big town. So yes, I encourage it.
And we had a really small team, basically 5 core people, boots on the ground, 3 from Humboldt. So, and it was great. I didn't feel like, it was like we'd always been on a team together. So it was fantastic. Plus, but then of course, having locals, they know all the stuff, you know, where everything is, like, you know, or, oh, I know this person, or my friend knows this, you know, which is invaluable.
Yeah, having the boots on the ground, having the local crew for sure that can and has the connections. And now that we have the straight through flights, you know, from
Yeah.
LA area as well too, helps out a lot. You know, we are, you know, looking into possibly having tax incentives here in Humboldt that are specific to Humboldt County, in addition to California's tax incentives. So there's a lot that we're trying to continue to become like a little film hub, you know.
I'm definitely going to be letting people know, like, if some project comes my way, I'm going to be like, think about Humboldt, you know?
Yeah. Well, you all 3 were amazing in my book, and everybody else who contributed, the rest of your team, and we couldn't be more honored to have you, you know, work on the movie and interview with us today. And so thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to see you guys. I haven't seen either one of you in a while. So
I know, it's
Let's
been a
do this
minute.
again.
So